So a fifth double fault from Rusedski to open the final set. I hope that does not bode ill. Yesterday, when we had the occurrence of the injury, Rusedski said he actually thought about quitting against Robinson. And yet he seemed fast enough and free of inhibitions as he completed the job quite well. 6-3, the final set was yesterday.
(15-30). Serve.
Another of those really punched volleys which gather pace off the court, making the pass so difficult. Well, whatever is wrong with his back, it's certainly not affecting his serve.
Game rusedski. First game, final sets.
With a 15th ace. Well, there can't be much wrong with a back that can produce that sort of delivery.
No, in fact, throughout the match, we really, I think, have been remarking on how well he's played and how little we've seen of any discomfort from his back. And I thought in the early part of that opening service game of this third set, there were signs of stiffness, and that, of course, if he stops, which he did for 7 minutes, I'm sure the stop has not particularly helped him in that regard. Whilst you're warm, even if you're carrying an injury, you can carry it as quite successfully. There's Brian Teacher, somewhat anxious, no doubt.
Yesterday, Mark, he came to courtside, didn't he? I wonder if he'll do it again.
Yes, I don't know quite. I mean, he clearly wants to be helping his player, but he's not in a position to do that. Coaches aren't allowed to confer or even send any form of information down to their player, because that's deemed coaching, and there are code violations if that happens. But the issue really is more difficult, I think, here for Tim Henman. He's had that break. He was playing so well to win that second set. His game was really coming together.
Wonderful counter hitting forehand from Rusedski's thunderbolt. Marvellous to think how well Henman recovered from that terrible accident he had in September '94 when he broke his leg in 3 places playing against Chris Wilkinson.
Game Henman. One game.
Seems that Rusedski has decided to open his shoulders quite readily here, going for short points. And if you are injured, of course, that is probably the right thing to do. Oh, well played. Lovely coverage.
Well, this is the second of 2 solid points by Rusedski from the net. Good deep volley, covering the shot down the line and prepared to take the cross court if necessary. Super volley.
Oh, that's a class shot, really is. Makes it look so deceptively easy. And this is the sort of shot you look for. An inspirational shot out of the blue. Certainly his backhand is a lovely naturally produced stroke.
(40-15). Game Rusedski. Rusedski leads 2-1.
Well, it's noticeable that Rusedski at the moment is he is sitting down. Yesterday, when he was playing his match against Wilkinson, he decided to lie down on the court to take the pressure off the small part of his back where he was suffering the spasm. So that's a very good sign that he's sitting down and normally, and that there doesn't seem to be any particular problem there at the moment. Now, these 2 players have had 2 previous encounters, and of course arguably the most important one was 12 months ago when they played here in the final. But recently in Ostrava they had a really close encounter, 7-6, 7-5 to Henman. Henman certainly holding the initiative and beginning to look now as though he is grasping this match.
Seats, please. Quiet, please.
Both players will welcome this tremendous atmosphere that the crowd has created.
15 love. $30 love.
So Henman into double figures now, chasing Rusedski's present 16 aces.
$40 love.
And that's very, very sporting. Rusedski has conceded that should not have been called a fault. It was an ace. So Henman's 11th ace. Very sporting manner this match is being played under, and one would have hoped to see that, of course, with Davis Cup teammates.
15 love. $30 love.
That's good serving, you know. Making him hurry to that forehand. Bill Tilden, the Red American of the 1920s, used to say that a player is as good as his second serve. And I think that's a fairly accurate summary. This man's second serve, when he's confident, is lethal.
$30-15.
Well, the thing about fast serves is if your opponent happens to time it perfectly and use your pace, well, it's down at your feet before you have time to recover.
$40-15. Game Rusedski, new balls please. Rusedski leads 3-2.
Mark, looking at this match and thinking of last year, it occurs to me that they're both very much better players than they were then.
Well, I think the difference in the last year, yes, they are better players, but they've sustained higher quality of play. There's been less tension, less nervousness. Both players last year really did suffer, I thought, in the match through tension. In the beginning it was Tim Henman, and it took him a set and a bit really to come to terms with the match, and then it was Rusedski who really didn't play to the best of his ability, and the outcome, as we know, was Tim Henman finished on a real high. But both players today have played well. I think it's true to say they haven't played their very best, but the quality of tennis has been of a very, very high order indeed. And this third set, I think particularly both players are serving exceptionally well. A little bit of a grimace there from Greg Rusedski. There are the sort of the remnants of the problem of the injury, but that is certainly not being reflected. The injury is not being reflected in his play in any way.
Love 15.
You couldn't find a more acute angle than that. Right on the line.